What's up, you guys? Welcome to episode 3 of Wavelength with your host, Travis Atreo, your fellow creator, fellow artist, Filipino singer. There's a lot of us, a lot of Filipino singers. And this week, I actually get to have another Filipino singer on this week. He's a really good friend of mine. His interview is coming up in a little bit, but I want to give you guys a little bit of announcements, some things just to kind of talk about before we jump right into the interview. First of all, if you guys haven't caught on, this podcast that I've newly released, this is only episode 3 if you didn't catch that, airs every Monday morning, and I try to set like a time of 8 a.m., but sometimes I kind of have to upload early just to make sure that everything hits, the proper places like iTunes and everything. I'm working in the process right now to get it on Spotify, so hopefully that works out. If so, I will announce that. If you guys didn't see this week, there was no cover this week. I do a weekly cover series of different pop songs, and lately it's been with some really good friends of mine. This last week, I did it with my good friend Emily Bett. She plays Felicity Smoke on Atreo. So any of you Atreo fans can go check that out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Travis Atreo. And you can check out the other covers too that I've done this past year or this past couple of months with some really, really talented friends of mine. I've got a few more in the works. Yeah, the reason why I haven't been able to do one this week is just because work has been kind of crazy, and finding the time to finish everything in a timely manner is tough. But I have one that's coming out with my good friend Colton Haynes. He played Red Arrow on Atreo, and he's, for those of you that may not know, he's from Teen Wolf, and he's got the jawline of a machine, of a Terminator. But he's a really good friend. We've got a cover coming out soon, and I've got a few more that I can't wait to release to you guys. If you guys want to support this podcast and also my cover series and pretty much everything that I'm doing, it's kind of a little unorthodox for an artist to be doing all these different things. But if you guys want to find it in your heart to help support everything that I'm doing, if you enjoy what you're hearing and seeing and stuff, you can go to patreon.com/Travis Atreo, and there's a bunch of different reward tiers and things like that you can check out to support what's happening. So anyways, without further ado, I want to jump into it. Again, this is Wavelength episode 3 with your host, Travis Atreo.
So that's so sensual.
It is very sensual.
I'm like, hi, I'm Mario.
Oh, man. You good?
I'm great.
Good.
Okay, we're doing this.
We're just kind of jumping into it.
That's great.
You guys, I'm here with my very, 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 one of my favorite people in the entire world, Mario Jose. He's a singer, songwriter, performer, actor.
I guess.
Yeah, you're an actor. What else? What are the other things? Social activist, I guess.
Wow, I've never had so many adjectives.
I tried.
And no one has ever given me that many varies, so I feel very, very, very honored.
That many varies. You should feel very,
very.
Mario just got back from an awesome tour. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
With Postmodern Jukebox.
Postmodern Jukebox.
I totally said that. Postmodern PMJ.
Yes.
He did like a 7-week run and then a 3-week run.
Exactly.
Pretty much Mario's just been absent from my life, and I've been very, very sad.
It's been very, very, very sad. And I'm seeing Travis, you're hanging out with like all of my mutual friends, and like I have FOMO to the max.
Shout out to Matt and Vince.
Yes, hi. And Mia, Mia,
and I didn't meet Melanie, but I just saw her sing and I died.
What is that vocalist?
That was, oh my god. And then
the Furman family in general.
Yeah, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Andreas. Do you know Andreas?
Filipino guy?
No, we can cut this out of there. It's okay.
Oh wait. Oh,
Andreas.
He's from
Nashville.
Yeah, he's like...
Or he's Sweden. He's Swedish. He's Sweden.
He is Sweden.
He's Sweden. Anyways, I saw them because they did a showcase at SIR, and I saw Melanie and I saw Andreas Moss. I'm going to totally botch his name.
I saw the Snap stories because I was out in the... I was in the middle of the South. I was probably in Pensacola, Florida.
Ultimate FOMO.
Totally. And it's like in the first part of the year, the 7-week run, it was so funny because that seemed like that went faster than this last 3-week run.
Crazy. Was it the same? Was it like Midwest and stuff? This one, or was
no? This last one was just through the South. So we went to like Tennessee. We went to Arkansas. We went to North Florida. We went to very southern Florida, but like
Did you do like Texas and all that too, or
no,
just like South,
like random, like the random? We did the Carolinas. We did.
Nice.
I said Arkansas. Anyways,
Yeah,
random
just
kind of
all there.
like jumping around, and then we ended like up in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So it was
Sounds
just
like you guys did like the Bible Belt.
It really was.
Okay,
It definitely
yeah.
was, and so funny because Postmodern Jukebox obviously started as a YouTube channel and now is a touring. What I say, it's a YouTube channel that turned into kind of a touring company,
Right.
And because there's different casts that are going,
It's a machine.
It really is.
It's pretty amazing to be able to adapt from that and then turn it into
what
like
it is.
a well-oiled machine. Yeah.
Totally.
And that's so cool though that you've been on the road. I mean, it's because you dropped your EP.
Yes.
We'll be getting into this later, but you dropped your EP and it was like all of a sudden you're just gone and on the road.
It was weird. And then I didn't think about it, but I feel like this whole first half of the year I've been gone, which is, I mean, I've been here and there in LA but this last tour, I really kind of got like LA homesick. And I was like, I want to be back doing my shows with my band.
And your music. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just love the PMJ family, but I was so happy to come back.
No, for sure. No, I get that. Especially as a creative, you want to get back to, well, because last year there was so much steam that you've been picking up. You were writing, you producing, all of a sudden the EP came out, it released, you had your release show, which, we were all at, and all of a sudden you were gone, so that's got to be kind of a tough thing, but we'll get into that. But
okay.
Mario has been on, this show has been adapted from a talk show on Dash Radio and now into podcast, and this is great because Mario was on the radio show before, and I learned a whole bunch about him, and so this is kind of like
our second date.
This is our second date, and I'm so excited to hear. I'm gonna totally ask you some of the same questions because
great news.
A lot of my new listeners are from my YouTube channel too, which weren't able to hear our first interview, and also now they're kind of out, wherever now, and I'm just so thankful for all you guys to be able to join in for this conversation with Mario. But he's an amazing guy, and let's just kind of jump right into it. So I know this, but where are you from?
What's my story? Okay, great. I am from Northern California, specifically Concord, California. It's about half. I always say kind of like the halfway point between San Francisco and Napa. And we're in this like little valley. It gets really hot, just like.
And were you born there too?
Yeah, born in Concord, raised in Concord. Born and raised. It's very suburban. We have a water park and a mall. But I love it. Yeah, I know.
Well, not the mall. I'm like, really? You have a mall?
A mall?
But a water park? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It's called Water World, and
isn't that a movie?
Yes. Kevin Costner isn't one of the lifeguards there though.
Didn't he pee? And have you seen it?
Yes,
the
and
opening
he filters.
Scene. Yeah, and he's peeing, and then he filters it, and then he drinks it.
Yeah, exactly. What everyone.
All I remember. And doesn't he have webbing too? Not
yes.
The whole. Oh, no, maybe I just spoiled it for some.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
It's literally over 20 years old. If people haven't seen it now, they're not going to see it. It's like saying Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
That's
like,
true. There
if you
go.
don't know that, you've one been living under a pop culture rock, and two, like. I mean, come on.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, come on.
Yes, so Concord, yes. It's great. It's very, very suburban. And I remember as a kid, I was always like, Concord's my life. I'm going to be here forever.
Right.
And then I woke up. And
when did you leave? When did you?
Right after high school. I moved to Fullerton, California, which is like Orange County.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did 2 years there. Oh, see, look.
I didn't know that. You did 2 years at
Fullerton College.
And then you transferred to Berkeley.
In Boston. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Okay.
So I hopped around and
so do you know Fullerton like the back of your hand then?
Actually, you know what? I got my license in Fullerton, so driving wise, yes. Like I feel
Okay.
like that's where I learned how to drive, and I definitely find myself that I know Southern California roads and freeways way better than I do at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll drive home and I'm like, oh, I don't know, and
That's funny.
everyone up there doesn't say the before the freeways, so you take 24 to 680 to 24 into
That
the
is
city.
weird. I never thought of that.
And down here it's the 405,
right.
the 5, and
That okay, I do get that because in Seattle, where I grew up, that's true. You just say I took I-5.
you say I.
or like I took 405. But yeah, there's no the. That was something was
That's
different
an LA
here.
thing.
That's an LA thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't say, like, if you're in the Bay Area, you wouldn't say the 680. People would be like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Or like people say the BART, which is you take BART. Like
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm totally guilty of saying the BART.
Okay. Well, when we go there,
Don't say the.
Don't say that.
I will just completely ex-nay the from, hey guys, welcome to tour or welcome to show.
Come to. Oh my! Yep. You know what? We're in the Bay Area. It's all about efficiency, and they don't want those. They don't want us.
Give me guitar. They don't just sound, like I just got here from the Philippines or something and didn't even know English, which would be
That's
fine,
right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of Filipinos on that tour, so it would.
And
make
by the
sense.
way, for you listeners that are Filipino and just got offended by that, we are both Filipinos,
Yes.
so it's all good. It's all
Mahal kita.
Mahal kita, mabuti.
He's more Filipino than I am, so I just love you. And
But yeah, so Fullerton, and then you transferred.
to Berkeley and
To Berkeley,
Boston,
right.
and absolutely loved it.
I have to backtrack real quick. When did you discover your voice?
It's a great question. If you ask my mom, she says I was singing in the womb. She said she was like I actually recently found a recording of me when I was 2.5 from the womb, and it was like I don't know what the womb sounds like.
2.5. That's
2.5.
Really
I have
young.
do you want me to play this?
Yes,
Hang on.
please.
All right, hang on. I'm not gonna mess up the mic.
No, you're good.
Okay, it's funny. Okay.
Wow.
I put it on my I'm back in front of the microphone. I put it on my Snapchat because I said this is really my first.
I'm sorry I didn't see it. I've actually deleted Snapchat. Just because I realized for the
Well, now
past
you
few
do
months
Instagram stories.
Yeah. So I get excited when I see your Instagram stories.
Travis.
You just do both forever.
Fine.
Just for me. I know it's a lot. It actually is a lot.
It does seem like a lot, but I still like Snap. I mean, you know what? You know what's gonna be funny is I hyped up all this stuff and I don't even have the video anymore. That would be so great. But it's me at 2.5 years old, and when I was home. When was I home? I haven't been home since the holidays. Jeez, what am I, living under a rock? And my parents had it in the tape deck. They're like, here it is. Oh my God.
Oh yes, please play it.
Those are how I want you are. Up on a roof so high, like a sing ABCDFG. H-I-K-K-L-O-P-Q.
Help him.
S-O. It's my turn. I'll be the one. I'll be the thing I cannot do.
Going for it already.
Little Mermaid.
First you and me, I slid down the sea, heart of your
Wow.
There's one more, I think.
Under the sea, under the sea.
It's so cute.
Under the sea.
That's that.
You're already modulating. You were like,
I was really avant-garde jazz modulating after every line. But did you hear that alphabet? A, B, K, K, M, N,
I
O,
loved
P.
it. That's so cute.
So that
You're adorable.
when I was 2.5. And
That's amazing.
And then I don't think my parents have ever been able to get me to shut up since then.
So then you were just like 2.5 and then 3. You learned all of your runs, and we're like
Exactly. I was doing
Christina.
arias.
Yeah.
And then I just
That's awesome. So then did you sing? So were you in any programs then growing up, like choir and stuff?
Totally.
Okay.
Starting, I think like 4th grade was when you could start choir at my elementary school.
Okay.
And I started choir and band, and I played trombone.
Right.
And then did that all through middle school, high school. And then when I got to college, I did the first 2 years of trombone and voice. And then when I moved to Berkeley, it was just voice.
Oh, okay. So Fullerton, you were still playing.
Yeah, for like
Oh, wow.
here and there.
So collegiate level, you were still.
I was still playing.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. Thanks. So if you picked it up right now, I mean, you could.
I could play. But
Yeah.
now, I mean, like thinking about it, like it's coming up on 10 years ago, which I'm totally dating myself. But like,
Okay. Hey, I just turned 30.
did you just turn 30?
I did. I turned 30 in February.
Oh my gosh, I'm turning 29 on the 29th of September this year.
That's cool.
Golden birthday, is
That
what
is
they call
right.
it?
That is a golden birthday. It's 29th of
September.
September. Okay.
I'm a Libra.
I'm gonna have to put this down.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're probably going to be
Actually,
in Vegas.
I'm just gonna do it right now.
Okay, great. He's making a little note in his calendar. But no, you actually, we are going to Vegas, so you're booked. Just so you know.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it out there
Okay,
to the
great.
world.
Hello.
I'm officially booked.
Sorry.
29th of
so you're
September.
taking Allie too. Allie, you're
Okay.
booked too.
Sorry.
Sorry, you're doing a trip to Vegas for my 29th birthday. I'm very selfish, apparently. But yeah,
it. I love
and so singing has always been a thing. I was always doing that and did musical theater on the side and through high school. But then when I got to college, it was just voice.
Okay. So you did a Berkeley thing. We ended up having a lot of mutual friends, which is crazy, and a lot of them had moved out here.
Totally. You just did a video with one of them, AJ Raphael.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
so crazy. That's like a clash of two worlds. I guess it's not that crazy, you know. But yeah, I did a cover with AJ. It's on Spotify and everything.
It's very
You guys can
good.
check it out. Thank you. We still haven't done a cover yet, which is so bizarre. You guys, this is the weirdest thing because Mario and I have been friends for a while now, and I've met literally all of his friends, and all of a sudden I've done covers with all of his friends, and I mean, you know, you were gone, which is fine.
No, I get the
But-
memo, Travis. You just wanted to use me for my friends. You don't even think I can sing.
Oh man, you know what? I might actually ask you to sing a little bit on this podcast.
Whatever you want, baby.
You could have whatever you like. All right, so then here's a question actually. Why did you move to LA? I mean, obviously a lot of people do move from Berkeley to LA to pursue music because I get it. It's like a glove, or it's the next step.
Yeah.
But for you personally, why?
I think, especially at Berkeley, they tell you have one of three places to go. You can go to Nashville or New York or LA. And I think it ultimately just made the most sense to be closer to family. Like I'm, 6 hours away, and if you go to, I kind of thought like, okay, I'm going to go to LA. A lot of alum from Berkeley moved there, and I probably have the most friends there.
Like a community.
Totally. And then excuse me. We'll edit for burp. But if my world crumbled and LA didn't work, and it would be much easier to get home.
Right.
As I guess, not go getter. And, people are like, that sounds like you have a backup plan. I was like, no, but at the same time, I want to be realistic.
Totally.
Like, I was just like, I think the most opportunities for me specifically will come from LA. Don't sing a lot of country, and I know that's kind of a generalization of Nashville, and I wasn't at the time a songwriter, so I didn't really see myself being in Nashville.
I see.
And then New York, I just don't miss the cold. I was like, why not be closer to home and be in California where I know it and I can have my car and
I feel like we're kind of the same in the sense, a lot of things, but I do thrive off of, hardship and, being alone and being in that mode of where this is all you have and you have to throw yourself everything fully. But there's something about, because I grew up with my parents supporting my music career, and I feel very blessed and thankful for that. So to even be within the proximity of the West Coast to them is still very okay, if I freak out, I can fly there real quick and recharge and talk to my parent. You know what I mean? Just have that
100%.
support. So is it kind of the same thing with
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My mom sings, and my dad plays
She's
trombone.
great, by the way.
Yeah.
I did see you guys sing together.
Oh, that's
Strawberry
right.
wine.
Yes, Tennessee whiskey.
Or strawberry wine. Yeah, Tennessee whiskey.
That is a lyric.
That is a lyric, right?
But I just wanted to scat for you. I have been extremely, extremely supported. And I think because they both did music growing up, that they get it, and they, and this is, still there's some times where they both work very steady jobs, and I'm very, very tight with my parents, and so
Did they ever pursue it as a job, or was it always
my mom? I'd say more so a little after or during college.
Really?
She was the host of a big band and
wow.
did corporate events and stuff like that, and she has that big brassy kind of voice. So
yeah.
And
Great voice.
Yeah, great voice. I really, I feel like she wasn't officially, but definitely was my first voice teacher. I would just sing and sing and sing with my mom.
And was that in the Bay? Did they grow up in the Bay Area then too?
Yep, my parents both born in San Francisco. And then my dad was born and raised in San Francisco, and then my mom moved to Sonora, California, which is at the foothills of Yosemite. So it's really pretty.
Wow.
But then moved to San Francisco for college. She went to SF State. So we've always been Bay Area people.
Yeah.
And
Is there a big difference between the mentality of the Bay Area versus LA being an artist? I find that there is a huge dynamic range of just mentalities of being an artist in Seattle. And have you seen a big difference? And how do you feel about that difference?
I think I always say to everybody that if the same industry in LA was in San Francisco, I never would have left because I love the vibe. But now it's way too expensive to live in San Francisco. And on top of that,
Silicon Valley is rated as the most expensive place to live now, right?
It is nuts. I mean, I have a friend that is sharing a room with his girlfriend, and it's a 3-bedroom apartment in a nice area, not the nicest part, but not
where?
Not
South Bay.
It's by no. It's in the city. I'm trying to think of what
okay.
district in the city, but by City Hall.
Okay.
So it's not really bougie part of San Francisco, but
Right.
it's not not the good part.
Right.
And they alone pay $2,500 for their room.
Whoa.
Their room. So, and then there's 2 other rooms. And I'm like, what is that? And she's like, well, and they all share 1 bathroom. So I'm like, it's a couple and 2 other people, and they pay $2,500. I'm like, no.
No, that's I want to say that's New York prices, but that's worse than New York.
New York is now second to San Francisco.
That's what my brother used to live in the city, and then he moved to Oakland last year. And now, even Oakland, I'm shocked at how much it still costs in Oakland.
It's nuts. And even in my hometown area, there is Concord, and then there's Walnut Creek. And Walnut Creek is kind of up and coming. People our age or mid-20s to mid-30s are moving there because it's cute and it's nice. And it's young. It caters to younger people. It's getting expensive there because even though we're 40 minutes outside of the city, it is right by a BART station, and then you can hop on the train and just commute in.
Yeah. So the mentality though, you did say if the industry was in San Francisco, you would have never left.
Yeah.
But is there? Because I feel this all the time now with Seattle. Every time I go up, it was maybe the first year and a half, I felt like it was still home since I had when I moved to LA, and then now in the past couple years, 2.5 years, I don't. It doesn't feel like home anymore, and it's weird. LA is I love my friends, I love my parents, and I'll always have love for Seattle, but I feel so excited to come back to LA now.
100%.
Is that the same kind of thing?
Absolutely, and I think it's I'm not sure about Seattle, but it's hard to be an artist in San Francisco.
Right.
Really, the only artist that I can see thriving, and I think that was majorly because of YouTube was Jeremy Passion.
Right.
And he's like, he plays shows all the time and like he's still doing this thing, but he travels all over the place.
Right.
Oh, and Gabe Bonduck.
Yeah.
And now I definitely see LA as home.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here. September will be 6 years, which is crazy.
Sorry to circle back around, but is it a difference in mentality though between living there and pursuing art and here?
100%. I don't know artists really thriving in San Francisco. And well, I mean, obviously LA. This is just like it's creative in every aspect, where San Francisco is so tech heavy. And almost like the sense of like, if you're listening in the city and I'm sorry and you work for a tech company, this is not shade, but there's a lot of people that are young people that have this kind of sense of entitlement when it comes to entertainment. Like they feel like they go to a restaurant that it should just be catered to them. Right. Like there should be some sort of like jazz trio and like nice.
A little bit of a nose in the air.
A little bit. And this is just
Seattle's just like that too.
And it's so funny because I love, and that's a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents are definitely not that kind of.
Right.
That's not their bag. You know. I mean, and I think it's just because it's so tech heavy and people and so like condensed into the city that I don't know. I don't feel.
Yeah, I mean, that it was a really big deal for me to get out of Seattle. I mean, I always say Seattle, but you know, my friends will make fun of me from Seattle because they're like, "You didn't grow up in Seattle." I grew up 30 minutes south of Seattle, called Federal Way. But there's this interesting mentality. You were talking about the tech industry, and hey, thank God for the tech industry because I love my iPhone. I love technology.
Look what we're doing right now.
We're literally recording into Pro Tools
and podcast. I mean,
and podcast. Yeah, right. Everything that we do is so based on the tech industry. But I think what we're talking about though is the creative mentality that I discovered out here, just being among people that are pursuing it in their own way. And because look, I say this all the time, in Seattle, it's not that music as a career is frowned upon, but it's just kind of not normal because there's not much opportunity, at least when I was there, because you know, granted, there's a lot of YouTubers now and artists and musicians that are making it on their own, you know, using tech like YouTube and Spotify and things to generate income. And now they're afloat and now they're fine. But when I was there, you know, I didn't have a community of people where I could kind of lean on and they would just get it. Like, you know, like I can sit down with you and be like, man, like, I don't know, like just bills and stuff. Like it's hard. And the sometimes what I would get from people in Seattle was like, well, then maybe you should go get a job. And I'm like, okay,
this is a job.
I get it. Yeah. You know, and it's not like, you know, it's just a different relational thing. You know, I get why there's, you know, TED is a huge, you know, community like now.
TED Talks.
TED Talks. Yeah. Because it brings together all these entrepreneurs and tech and things, and they all share. Like I understand now why these communities thrive, because they just get it. You know, they just understand each other really well. And I needed to get out of that. I just needed to be around people like yourself and our friends and people we know, just to feel like I wasn't the only one. And that's kind of one of the things about this podcast that I want to do is there's a lot of creatives that are in different areas of the world. I mentioned this in the last podcast, but like I heard this TED Talk once that this guy said, the internet is an amazing place to foster community. And there's been so many things. I mean, look at Facebook and obviously everything that we've done, but it's connected us in a way where if you have such a niece,
a nephew,
if you have a nephew, but if you have such a niche interest, you can always find those people. There's people out there that have the same interest as you, as wacky and as crazy as they can be. So the hope for this podcast is that if to anybody listening out there, if you are in an area where you don't feel like you have community and you feel all alone, somehow I hope that you could find, you know, some sort of comfort in knowing that you are not alone. And regardless of anyone's success or whatnot, because we both know very successful people and we know people, you know, coming up and everything. The struggles are, it's like there's no amount of money in the world that could take away your struggles.
Exactly. Like
Biggie said it right. More money, more problems. You know? Or maybe that was P. Diddy. I don't know. There was 3 of them in that song. So. But yeah, seriously, more money, more problems. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the heartbeat of this whole thing. And yeah, I mean, have you felt that sense of community since you moved down here?
100%. I say 100% a lot, but I do.
It's okay. I was listening to another podcast with Terry Crews, and he always says, "Let me tell you something. Let me tell you." He probably said it like 50 times in like a minute, and I didn't care. I was just like, "Speak, preach, Terry Crews."
No, 100%. It is. I agree when I'm listening, and especially on a matter like this, I wholeheartedly agree that it took a minute for me to find my crew in LA. Right. And they're like, I actually just posted.
You can't sit with us.
Exactly. That's funny. I just posted the video. You know how like Facebook now is just completely like almost like clickbait, like compilation vids, and they just give you a little snippet of news. Right. Someone compiled all of the fangirling moments of Adele about Beyonce. Oh. And I wrote, and then I was like watching this video of Adele, who I very, very much look up to as an artist in every way. And she, like, you remember at the Grammys this year, she took her moment to showcase Beyonce. Right. And not that Beyonce really needs to be showcased. Beyonce is like, they're royalty. Like, but to me, that was so cool. And I went on this like Facebook rant, and I very, very rarely, like, I'll just be like, "Hey fam, here's my new video."
Facebook
and
rants are not like you.
No. Yeah. And I definitely was like inspired I was like, okay, a little bit of Facebook rant. And I was just like, you know what? Do you mind if I just
please? I would actually love, I was hoping that you would kind of dive into it.
I'm just going to like read it because I am like very passionate about it. And it all plays into the whole like, your community here and supporting each other and everything. And I came up with this thing that I think is like very, here we go. So it says, randomly inspired by one of these Facebook news feed videos. People warned me, quote, "Be careful, the industry, even LA, is cutthroat." I said, yes, I've definitely seen that as the case sometimes. However, the people I've met that are truly successful and thriving in music have been some of the most down-to-earth, kind, real people I've ever met. When I look at this, and this is something that I've been really kind of like on lately, I said, when I look at pursuing a career in music, I see it as one of the 7 summits in the world. We all know that you can't climb Mount Everest by yourself. You need a team of people that you love and trust to get to the top together. Wow. I said this video is a great example of that and might be my favorite part of the music industry. The two biggest artists in the world right now, in my opinion, completely fangirling over each other and taking their moment to shine, to direct the light on someone else who equally deserves it. Wow. I said, ultimately, what I'm saying is we could all be a little more like Adele and Beyonce in every aspect of life. Yeah. Thank you for reading this rant. And everybody, Tori Kelly's mom liked it. And I was just like, there's a perfect example of of these people that are, Adele didn't have to say a damn thing, but thank you. I'm very happy with this. But she took her entire speech. Yeah. She said, thank you to my people. Yeah. But let's talk about
tears.
Beyonce.
Through tears.
Let's talk about Beyonce. And even the Grammy she won earlier that night, she was just like, Beyonce, you're the queen of my life. And it's like, do I think that you have to do that every single time? No. Yeah. But the sense of community in this industry, to me, has in the positive ways, they've completely outweighed the negatives. Right. And I mean, for example, we met at a party, you and I. We met at a party for Alex Newell, who was the star of Glee and, did all this stuff, and he's killing it. He's releasing these EDM bangers, which I'm obsessed with. Wow. And now we, through the years, are doing several big things together. And did I have even an inkling that night? Right. No, you were just being very sweet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so nice to meet you. And and I just love this community. And this is the only place that I've been besides, sometimes at Berkeley, but it was a little more competitive because we were in college. But this has been the place.
Well, I completely 100% agree with you. But it's funny because I actually say that a lot too. But there's a saying. It's like you're only greedy when you're starving. You know, I've pondered that thought a long time. Probably heard it from like a sermon or something. Yeah. But yeah, you're only greedy when you're starving, and that, man, being from a smaller market is what they would call it. Just being from, you know, a place where there's not much music, the level of competitiveness was high. It was like there was a community and we did want to help each other out, but it was just weird. It was like we were all kind of competing for something. You know, we all wanted to be the first band or you know, whatever. You see it now, like with I have this talk all the time with people, but like Asian Americans and representation in TV, film, and music. There's not a lot of us, so we were kind of pitted by the institution to be competitive towards each other. And when there's not enough roles for actors, when there's not enough opportunity for writers, when there's not enough Asian American representation in music, when we grow up, we don't see people that look like us. Like all of a sudden we're just pitted against each other. And you know, like this is to piggyback off of your thought of coming down here and thriving together. I fully 100% believe that like we're entering this time of the music industry where anyone that's like a superstar diva they're in an anomaly. You know, my good friend Eric Kern. Do you know Eric Kern?
Yeah, drummer?
Yeah. So we were having a Shake Shack a couple weeks ago.
I just had it for the first time, by the way.
Wait, really?
It was so good.
Did you have it here or in
WeHo?
Okay, so you've never had it in New York?
No.
Oh man, I don't know if New York's any better. I mean,
it was very good.
I want to say it is, but it's very good.
I had all the things.
All the things.
All of them.
Did you have a double?
I had a burger, and and I know this is blasphemous to Travis's listeners. Please don't kill me. I don't really like French fries. I'm like, I could live without them.
It's okay.
So I got a hot dog. Because you need a burger and a hot dog.
Okay, I feel like if you're a listener right now and you wanted to throw stones at him, you probably want to throw hugs at him now. Because if you get a burger and a hot dog, you have blessed my life.
Well, I was clogging these young arteries is what I was doing.
You can, we're fine. You're not 30 yet.
You know,
for me, I gotta look out.
Okay, that's like 3 months fresh. Yeah, calm down, Travis.
But yeah, like it's like. It's so funny when there's not enough opportunity, or at least this perceived, you know, reality, this fake, you know, fairy tale that we've always been told. We all of a sudden get so clogged up with, oh, it's just me, like me. But the way that like the music industry is now, where labels are kind of like, wait, how do we make money now? You know, we're just going to have to take everything from the artists that we sign. And, you know, we got friends that are signed to, you know, labels, and, you know, more power to you. But I'm just saying from my own personal story, you know, I think they're scared. Major labels and these big people, these big gatekeepers that used to be, are scared because of the power that we have now. And the only way that I like to what you're saying is to achieve our success is together. And we were taught like, oh no, there can only be one, you know, Beyonce.
Highlander.
Yeah, exactly. There can only be one. And it's like, no, the market is large enough. The world is huge. So just because Justin Bieber is killing it, wait, so the mentality is even though I don't make music anything like his, I can't thrive?
No,
you know?
I mean, let's be real. You and I are very similar.
Yeah.
We both have high voices. We are both Filipino American guys. But if you listen to my EP and you listen to your EP, they're completely different.
Right.
And it's just, and they're completely different, but at the same time, I would go to the same concert. You know what I mean?
No, totally. And so it's weird that I don't know if someone really just even told me blatantly, but from the culture we grew up in, we were subliminally taught we can't coexist.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why not?
Oh,
you know, to me, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's total bullshit. And I will preach from the mountaintops forever. Like, that's not true. The market is large enough for all of us to thrive, and we should do this together like we're doing.
Totally.
You know, announcement. If you guys don't know, we're going on tour together.
Yeah.
With the Philharmonic.
Wait, have we initially, excuse me, initially and officially announced the tour title yet? Are we not supposed to?
No, we haven't yet. Maybe we should wait.
Okay, we have to talk to our captains.
Yeah, our captains. Yeah.
Which I love. If our managers are listening, shout out to Kevin
Yes.
and Rose and my manager Ryan Aceto,
Ryan.
who I love that they have like little lunch meetings.
I know. And they don't even tell us.
I know. And he's like, well, I met with Kevin and Rose. And I was like, well, that's nice. I hope you had a good time.
Exactly. I find out way later, like a few days later, like, how was your weekend? He's like, oh, the managers met. And I'm like, you did? you don't need me, right?
I feel it's like our parents like all getting together talking about us. But
maybe they're just like so mad at us. They're just so over us. They're like, well, your client did this. My client did this.
Exactly.
Which
It's
is
like
fine.
the mom's club. They are like, oh, Jamie, trapped in burger-legged soccer practice.
Exactly. I love it.
But I love it. And I actually, if you guys are listening, I could not be more ecstatic for the team that is putting this up. Philharmonic and you have been on tours before, and this is like I'm like the kid. I feel like this is like my
you
first,
just did like 8, 9, 10 weeks in this first quarter of the year.
You are correct. So I've been on tours before. Like when I was on tour with Pentatonics,
Right. Weren't you tour managing that too?
No, I was the tour manager's assistant. I think of The Office all the time, like the regional manager, the assistant to the regional manager. And so I was
You
pretty much
have experience. Come on.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was like a 6-week tour. So but this is like the first time where I'm going as a part of like this
As
is
artist,
my music,
as
this
your
is
brand.
Yeah. And so
Yay.
it's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, but honestly, like I couldn't be more ecstatic to one, share the team of people that are working behind us and with us, but first and foremost to like share the stage with artists that I believe in and love. Like it's just
totally. I know. Again, shout out to our team, to our amazing. Jesse's just digging into the carpet.
come on, baby.
If you guys, my dog Jesse is
Follow him on
a little
Instagram.
champ. Yes, at J Bear the dog. Letter J Bear the dog. But I might have to put him in the room real quick. So let's pause for 1 second.
Okay.
And we're back. So there's a few things that I wanted to kind of jump into, especially, we don't have much time left. But we talked about being a minority. And that's something that I tend to ask a lot of friends that are on here, because a lot of them just tend to be minorities.
Yeah.
But has being a minority had actually, first question, when did you realize you're a minority?
That's so funny that you ask. When I was young, I asked, my dad's a dark Filipino guy.
Yeah.
And
He's total Tito.
yeah, totally. He looks, I thought he was black when I was and I was like, Mom, why are you white and Dad's black? And then she goes, Rick, why don't you answer this one? And he's like, well, you're not black and white. You're Filipino and Italian. And he was trying to explain it to me. And my mom goes, you know what? Just tell everybody you're mocha. So for probably the first 4 years of my life, I was like, I'm mocha.
Really?
Yeah, I literally just told people I was mocha, and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Like as an ethnicity.
Totally. Like, where are you from? Mochaland.
Mochaland.
Anyway, but I don't know. I just I definitely grew up in a community that was very diverse, actually.
Okay.
And
was there not maybe the first time, because that's very dramatic, but like, I don't know, to what you're saying, like a time that you realize that
I'm different.
Totally.
There were a lot of things. I think I was definitely a minority, being first and foremost a male singer. And everybody was like equated that with being, like gay. And like that was like the gay thing to be. And I was like, oh my God, no, you're gay if you're gay.
Right.
If you're a homosexual person and you like the same gender, that's what's that.
Right.
So that was a lot of us.
You think by definition people would take it by definition. But
you would think.
Yeah.
But some people don't think. And so there's shade to those.
Yes, all shade to those.
Sade's
Dark
greatest
Side
hits.
of the Moon. Sade's greatest hits. That was cool. That was a music reference we both had.
Boom. But no, I always kind of knew I was a different kid, and especially being, I guess, biracial or just like multicultural and in the sense of like my genetic makeup. Like I was always kind of the white kid in the Filipinos, in the Filipino side of the family, and the darker kid in the white side of the family. But it's just all of my family is very diverse. And my mom's side is like a lot of Italian and French influence, and then my dad's full blood Filipino, and so I always knew I was not common, I guess.
And did that ever affect you at all, or was it just kind of like, this is my truth and this is it?
That was kind of it. Like I never really. I remember taking a hip hop class, like a hip hop dance class. My mom picked me up and she goes, "What'd you think?" And I said, "I had so much fun." And she goes, "Did your teacher say you moved pretty good for a white guy?" And I was like, "Mom, I'm not white." And she's like, and she like looks at her skin. She's like,
so
"You very much are white." And I was like, "No, Mom, I'm Filipino."
See, these are the things. That's why I'm so excited for the industry to be moving forward in diversity. I mean, like with Dear White People, shout out to all them, and Allie
oh my God, congratulations, Allie.
And like Master of None season 2. Oh my God, like all
Is it
these.
good?
Oh, it's incredible. You have to watch it. Like
I haven't watched any of it.
We didn't even finish season 1. We just jumped into season 2 because everyone was talking about it. And you can. It's like there's very little things where you're like, okay, that happened, cool. But you jump into it and it's amazing. But these are the types of stories that I feel like need to be told. I went to this thing called Run. It's a new Asian American organization I'd love for you to come to.
Oh my God, please.
They're having them every month. But Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. AKA Chloe Wong. She's really good friends with Allie. But her and like the executive producer of Funny or Die and this other amazing woman named Kate Park all created it. And someone said, Dante Bosco, Rufio.
Yes.
Was there. And he said, he was like, for 50 to 100 years, non-Asian people have been telling Asian stories, which blew my mind. I mean, I feel like I could hear a glass shattering. And it was like, I was like, that's why we should be upset, And obviously, I am, I'm biracial too. I'm 75% Filipino, like a quarter Irish. So, but the Asian American experience is so different from just the Asian experience and just the American experience. Like, that's why I'm so psyched about you even telling the story of like, because most people that are one race don't understand what, you're like, your mom goes, did your teacher say you move pretty good for
a white boy?
A white boy. And you're like, no, there's this thing that no one really understands other than us.
Yeah.
And those are the types of stories that I feel like just need to be told.
Totally.
And anyways, but please keep going.
Well, no, and that's like because I love it. To me, I think interracial like love and is awesome. Like because it's two
Cute
worlds.
as babies.
I mean, if I don't toot my own horn, but like, I mean, completely just you're bringing two worlds of history and culture and food and like all of the great things that come with being your heritage,
right?
And merging with another, like why not? And I think I screwed everybody up because my last name is Jose, and Filipinos. I mean, like they all have a lot of Spanish influence in their names and stuff. But I looked Mexican. I look Mexican. My mom is very white. My dad, to me, still can look black, but he's Filipino. And then I feel like I look like their Mexican adopted child. But then my last name's Jose, but I'm Filipino. And so there definitely have been times where like, I mean, growing up, my schools kind of just assumed, which is, I mean, now looking back is a little fucked up that they sent our like newsletters home in Spanish. And my mom's like, I can't read this shit. and I was like, great. And so then I didn't take that, and I was a very good kid and still, I mean, for the most part still am. But like I could have taken advantage of that because whenever I like wasn't marked in attendance, the calls home were in Spanish. So I should have been like, Mom, Dad, I'm ditching school. And they're like, hola, Senor Jose. And like, I mean, they would have never known. Yeah. But of course I was like in classes and like not missing shit. But
no, totally. No, I mean, I think that just being a minority there's, I've had a lot of conversations with people, and we've all been through this from growing up in the TGIF generation with Boy Meets World and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and it's weird. Like I did not see like any problem.
No,
because it's weird. As Corey Matthews, I thought I was Corey Matthews.
Yeah,
there was no like, oh, he looks different than me in a weird way. Maybe it was just the whole ignorance is bliss type of thing. Like even though I grew up in a first generation Filipino household, I ate Filipino food. I was in a very very Filipino church where everyone spoke Tagalog, and so. But it was just weird. I didn't notice this, and I guess we don't really notice it until something happens and we get angry.
Totally.
And this whole thing, #stay woke.
Yeah.
It's true. Like we have to be mindful of these things, as artists, as creators, because we're kind of put on a pedestal, and what Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. And not that we're Adele or Beyonce, but we do sing and we do have a voice, and being there's just so much going on in this world. There's so much wrong that's happening, so much injustice that like you can't just sit idly by, because. And I'm not trying to like throw a curse on anyone or anything, but like if you are apathetic to injustices that are happening because of race and whatnot, just I hope that you're not, and I hope that it doesn't take something like a tragedy or something to wake
hit
us
you
up.
at home.
Yeah. I wrote this song called Somehow, and I remember coming in here, and it was after the Pulse nightclub shooting. Well, it was that whole week was, it was a Christina Grimmie thing, and all of a sudden Pulse nightclub, and
Horrible week.
I just remember coming in here and being like, I don't have any words to say, but my heart is just in pieces. So I was like, I don't know. I'm very logical and systematic when it comes to like, oh, we have a problem. Well, let's get a ladder and let's go get, you know what I mean? Like,
how do we fix this?
Let's just fix it, right? And at that moment there was just there's nothing to, like, you can't really fix it overnight or anything. So like I just remember writing these words like, I can't see the end of these tears I cry. I can't see the end of these sleepless nights, but I want to somehow. And I remember like I played it this past weekend at a foundation, and I remember being like, this isn't the most encouraging song, but I hope it's hope someone finds solace in it.
Totally.
Somehow. I don't know.
Somehow.
I did not even mean to say that. But we did talk about as like, I did ask you if this is okay to talk about. But as far as being different, when did you realize you were different? When did you come out or at least realize?
Oh, absolutely. I think the first person I told I was gay, I was 13, and I told him because I knew he was, and he denied it and kind of like held it over my head through high school.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like said some shit like, if you don't do this kind of stuff, I'm gonna tell people.
Really?
And I was just like, ugh. We at one point we were very, very good friends. I would say he was my best friend. I was going to ask.
Yeah. Okay. So he was your best friend. Wow.
Yeah. And so it was like, I didn't tell anybody after him, really. I didn't tell anybody until I moved away to college.
Whoa. From 13.
Yeah.
Until, wow.
College. I didn't tell anybody.
Really?
And I was just like, ugh, I just want to move someplace new and start fresh and stuff. And then fast forward to, which is so crazy, I told my parents when I was 19.
Wow. Really?
Via email.
Really?
Because I'm such a punani. And I was like...
It's okay. My brother, he came out at 17 in person, and it was... Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. And it's so funny because this year, on, I think it's October 2nd, I know the day, it will be 10 years since I came out. And it was a journey. It was the first couple years were, kind of hard because...
Yeah.
At the time, I thought, and a lot of kids and stuff it's like it's my life and it's my this and and it is
right.
That's not, it's not all about you. It is. It's your sexuality. It's your finding who you are.
Your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I feel like the teen years are all just one big chutzpah of like finding out just your identity, but you don't even know that that's what you're looking for.
Exactly. And so it was the thing. But now that I look back and I thought, oh, my mom's gonna be no problem with it. My dad's he's gonna hate it. Like I thought, like, oh, dad's gonna be so mad.
Wow.
And not necessarily that it was the opposite, but my mom had a harder time with it. And
really,
yeah. And because we're so close, and she was mostly hurt because I didn't tell her sooner. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, there's other people that know, and I feel stupid. And I was like, that was not my intent. Because and she had every right to feel that way. Wow. It was like, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, that's not my intent. I said, you're just the hardest person to tell because you're like my mom.
Right.
And so the first couple of years were kind of hard. We were navigating. We were, because and I didn't realize until one time we were on a plane and my mom, you've met my mom.
Yeah.
She's
amazing.
Goofy. She makes me seem introverted. How...
It's funny because it's like it's very much like, even if you didn't tell me that was your mom, I'd be like, is that Maria's mom?
Totally.
Because you guys are like just so close and so like similar and
we
funny.
Have several of the same mannerisms and stuff like that. Wow. But there was this one time, I think we were going to Vegas for my dad's birthday, and we were on the plane, and my mom goes, "Oh, he's cute," and was like trying to like nudge me along, and I got really nervous, and I was like,
"How old were you?"
I was 20.
Okay, so you already came out.
Yeah, I was like a year, and I got all weird, and I was like, I just got all quiet and huffy puffy, and I look over and she was crying.
Oh.
And
whoa.
Yeah, and it's just very unlike my mom. She's not a weepy mom.
No, she's Italian, and
she's like, don't fuck with my family, and I won't fuck with you.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "Are you crying?" And she's like, "I'm really trying here." And I was like,
"Oh my God, I'm gonna cry."
And I was like, and she's like, "This," and she's like, "I know that and she's like, "I want to know, I want to understand." And she's like, "I've never had anyone in my life that's been gay."
Whoa.
And she's like, she had a friend, but it wasn't close to home. And she's like, "And you're my world." And she was like, "And I want to understand, you know." And I was like, that I completely broke down with her. Ugh. And that to me was our turning point. And she was like, "I'm trying here." Like, and she's like, "Just be patient with me." She goes, she grew up in that era of gay being all surrounded by AIDS and death and disease. And it was socially kind of frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
So she doesn't know any better. And now she, in terms of hashtag stay woke, she's just so with it, and she's up to date. I mean, like with things, and our biggest fight when we were first fighting about it, and even in 10 years, I mean, that was before Prop 8 and everything in 2008. Yeah, and marriage, and one of our first fights was like, "I'm never gonna have grandkids." I was like, "Are you kidding? I'm absolutely gonna have grandkids." But she didn't get it. Like she, and so now it's just she can't wait. Yeah. So this October will be actually 10 years since I told my parents. Wow. And it has been a complete transformation, and we are back to what we were. I mean, like we just had to learn, and I think I get it now in the sense that it's not just about the person, especially if you're close with your family, like it's going to affect them. It's, and not because of their, I mean, I guess because of what they grew up in, their outlooks and things. And I've been very blessed to, even through coming out and through, kind of like figuring out me and stuff, having parents that still supported me, and because I've heard horror stories of like some of my closest friends in college that were completely disowned, and they had to drop out of college because their parents stopped.
Cut them off.
Yeah, cut them off. So I thank my lucky stars for my family. We are tight, and we and they know at the core of it, that I'm following my dreams and I'm working hard, and regardless of my sexual orientation, like I am proud to be a gay guy and just like live that life and be a part of an extremely supportive community and a beautiful community.
Yeah.
But I definitely identify myself as a musician first and foremost,
Right.
more than anything.
Right.
It's not like I'm Travis and I love girls. Like
Yeah,
it's, and that's not saying that is all of the persona of gay people as
No,
well.
totally. No, it's always just interesting because I grew up in a very conservative household too, and my parents, it was tough, when my older brother came out, and I always tell people like for us it was like a make or break situation because like our family could have easily just split up completely and been everywhere, but somehow miraculously we got even closer. And my dad being a Marine, ex-Marine,
Dad's ex-Navy.
Wow, yeah, military. Yeah, my mom was in Air Force, and very traditional Filipino, and so yeah, a lot of it. It's funny because it's like these people that we know, like our parents, are just full of so much love, and like they will give the shirt off their back to anyone, even people they don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think that my older brother's struggle or my parents' struggle was just because they didn't. It was a thing of like they just didn't know,
Exactly.
And it's crazy how we can be so judgmental to things that we don't know, but yet be so willing to love people, but because we're not around it, because we don't know it, we get scared.
Exactly.
It's all just out of fear. But then as soon as they get it, it's like night and day.
Totally.
And there's always I that's why I don't know, maybe I'm just such an optimist and maybe I'm just completely crazy, but I really believe that everyone has good in them, and I want to believe that, and I want to live my life believing that, and I've seen miraculous change, people that are just so hateful and vengeful turn into the exact opposite, and I mean I think that your story just kind of nails that even more in my head, and I guess one of the last questions I wanted to ask you was, has your journey, everything that you've gone through, has there been a moment or a couple moments in your life, I mean maybe you just shared them, but that has defined kind of who you are now? I have this theory that like we said, in your teens we don't even know we're searching for identity, but we are searching for something, trying to figure it out. And then we get into our 20s and we think, at least this is for me, it's like, okay, everyone that's graduating is like 22, 23, like you're out of college and you're supposed to be an adult now. So then there's this like kind of pompous thing of like, okay, I'm an adult, I know what I'm doing, I can go to bars and drink and everything, but really you're just as irresponsible as, you're just it's just time has gone by.
Exactly.
And so I still feel like and this is why I was so happy about getting into my 30s, was I felt like teen years were figuring out who you are and your value system and what you value. 20s, it was still the same thing, just an extension of that, but also with career. How am I going to make money? How am I going to do this, right? 30s, I feel like, is the year of you take everything that you learned, the good and the bad, you turn that into firewood and you stoke the flame and you go for it.
Yeah.
And I feel like from our 30s and beyond, like before then, we're always kind of changing. We're always learning more about ourselves. We're traveling. We're seeing different groups of people. We're meeting so many people. And whoever you were at 15 is whoever you are, even like at 21 to like 25 is different.
Totally.
And I feel like 30 and on, we've kind of discovered enough about ourselves to kind of know who we are moving forward. But for you, has there been any moments leading up to this point as an artist, and as a creator, like, that has defined you, has defined your art?
Oh my God. First of all, I agree with everything 100%.
100%.
That it's just, I think, I was an only child growing up. So I had a lot of time by myself. And I had a lot of time on my hands by myself. But I think that's one reason why I'm so close with my parents. And I treat my friends like my siblings. Like in always in the positive way. I mean, maybe in the negative way. If my friends are listening, please tell me if I'm being a asshole brother. But
that's how you know you're close, though.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Vince told me today my breath was bad, and I was like, you know what? I'm a little embarrassed, but I appreciate that.
Tell Vince his eyes are too beautiful.
I know. Hello. God damn it, Vince Kennedy. But yeah, I had a pretty good sense of self. I'd say leaving high school into my first year of college. I kind of was like, okay, I know you love people. And this is me talking to myself. Yeah. You love people. You love being around people. You love making people laugh. You love people. You love to change people's emotions with your music. And now you need to harness that and see, how do I make a living in that? How do I how do I make my passion my career? And so I knew that music was it. So going through college, and when I moved to LA, everyone's like, you got to go to these jams, and like everyone, go and you sit and you sing, and it was so sharky to me. Like it was very like, yo, what's up? Like, yeah, man, I'm killing. Like, I don't, I wasn't the guy, and I feel confident now. If you ask the Mario that moved to LA 6 years ago and the Mario today, can you sing? Or like, are you good? Like the Mario, when I moved here when I was 22, I was like, oh yeah, totally. There was hesitation, but now I've finally learned about myself. If someone asked, I was like, yeah, I this is what I do.
Confidently though, not cocky.
No, just this is my heart, and this is what
that's so good.
And I know at the end of the day what I can and can't do for sure. If you ask me to climb a wall, you'd see some struggling. But if you asked me to sing a song, I would, and I would feel confident in it.
Dude, what you said, this is my heart. I think that speaks volumes. Like I told you before, I've been on this road of like trying to figure out who I am as an artist and what music I want to put out. And then it wasn't until I realized, we're artists because we take whatever form, whatever our soul is, honestly, whatever our heart is saying, and we just put it into the medium of our choice of whatever we do. If you're, a painter, it's with a canvas type thing, and
an actor. Yeah,
exactly. And I love that it's like, can you sing? And the response is like, yeah, it's my heart. It's like, I
don't know anything else.
I love that.
Yeah. And that was a huge one of those turning points when I first moved here, and I was like, I want to sing. Like, I don't need to sing because I need to be signed and I need to be famous and things. Right. But I want to sing. Yeah. And like I would go to these jams, and in the realm, I think that, and it's funny because this is the perfect way to segue all of our talk. Yeah. Because I think being an Asian American guy that's a little racially ambiguous, that you can't really tell what I look like. I mean, everyone thinks I'm Hispanic, and Filipinos can sniff out the adobo on me. But that has proven to be kind of a leg up. Like, because it's, for all of the people that are artists in general, actors, like visual artists, music artists, I admire you. I admire, if you're listening, you keep doing what you're doing. Your work is so important. Yes. And especially too, I'd like to dedicate this a special like props to women and gay artists, and especially African American men and women, because the quantities are so high. If you are a girl trying to be a pop singer, you might as well try. You are one of millions, right? And I think it's even harder for. I was talking to Vince. Vince Kennedy is an incredible singer songwriter based here in LA. Yeah, and he's a black guy, and he stands out. He is so unique, and in a realm, in a very competitive realm. And I think that in being an Asian American man, you kind of have a leg up because you're an anomaly. Yeah, you're kind of your own. You're the I can't. There are very few of us. Right. And so if you're needing an Asian American man, especially a singer, there's less, I feel like less than 20 guys that you're going to call.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Totally.
I just have props to all the people that are going into this, going up against a lot of people that generally, or in a generalization world, could be pitted against.
Right.
And props to you for rising above it. And
Absolutely. No, I think that's beautiful. I think that we need to be more. I feel like we've been so used to being like, oh, if I were only white,
Yep.
you know, and if I were only this, if I was only, you know, but we just visually, we're already different. We're already in our own. So be proud of it.
Oh, totally.
Right.
And that's what I love. I've done a few covers with Matt Bloyd and Vince, and
yes, you guys have to check it out. I'll link everything, and if you're listening to this on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description and everything.
I would never put the three of us together, like ever. If you looked on a lineup,
right?
Like, why would you put the three of us? Just based on our look, but in terms of getting three vocalists, it all sound very, very different.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Putting us together, I think it's one of my favorite musical collaborations I've ever done. Like working with those two, we are all so different in how we approach singing, and yet we all really listen, and we all really kind of love to collaborate with each other.
Yeah.
So that was one big kind of turning point recently.
Amazing.
And I was just like, oh, I'm singing with two guys again that probably eventually would be going up for the same kind of job.
Right.
You know, we're all tenors. We're all pop R&B influenced singers.
Yeah.
But Vince Kennedy is so different from Mario Jose. Is so different from Matt Bloyd. It's so different from Travis Atreo. It's crazy. And that was a big turning point. And I think the biggest turning point in terms of me and my artistry in general was when I was on tour with Pentatonics. And I got hired. They featured this whole thing in their On My Way Home documentary. And I was hired as their tour assistant. Like, I was just like, you know, me and the tour manager would wake up and we'd be like the first ones in the venue, and we'd have the green room set up, and we'd have this set up, and boom, 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 boom. And then I remember they had me help plan this crew dinner, and we were in Vail, Colorado for a corporate event, and plan this crew dinner, oh, make sure to get this people, and da 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 da. And I had no idea I was planning my own surprise dinner. And
sneaky.
In terms of hi, can we put this many for this many people, and da da da. And so the group got up, and just like they show in the documentary, we have a surprise for Mario, and I'm like looking around, and I was like, oh, okay. And I get up, and they had printed a flyer that said "Live at Agganis Arena, Pentatonics featuring Mario Jose."
That's
and
amazing.
I looked at this and I was just like, "What does that mean?" And they're
what
like,
a great reveal!
Oh my god! And they were like, "We want you to open for us in Boston." And it was literally a month shy of my 4-year graduation from college.
Wow! On
the same stage.
Wow!
Literally, and it was just this huge full circle moment where I was hired for a job because I worked with Pentatonics and we're friends.
Yeah.
And they were like, would you want to come on tour with us and work for us? And I was like, yeah, oh my God, I totally would. And I'm so happy I did, because what a cool job that was to learn that aspect of touring.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, now I know what I want on tour and what I don't want, and what we need and we don't need.
Most people, and that's the thing. Most musicians don't. They don't ever get that. That's amazing, man. Wow.
And so it was this huge moment, and I called my parents, and they had already known because the group literally flew them out to see the show.
Oh, no way.
So I was obviously emotionally beside myself, and I remember sitting in the hotel lobby hallway bawling. That's one
pre
thing,
or post?
Pre, because they did not. After they told me.
Oh.
After they told me, but then it was pre the concert. Okay. So it was literally I had 6 days to put a half an hour set together, opening in an arena. I had never done this. I didn't have in-ears. I was I was, and I was.
You sounded great. I mean, you guys can look at the, I'll link that too. You can look up the YouTube video. That's
and
amazing.
It was nuts. And I literally did a half-hour set opening for Pentatonics. And
so do you feel like this has put you on this trajectory? It was that because I mean, if for my listeners, they might know the whole Taylor Swift Taylor Swift thing that helped. It was like the wind in my sails of like, go for it. It's like Taylor was like, go for it. Something. Was that kind of?
It was my wind. It was the wind beneath my wings, shall we say. As cheesy as that may sound, I will always say, and I've said it in I think I said it that night in the show, that the only thing bigger than their talent is their heart. Ugh. And they are 5 of the most talented people on planet Earth, and their team they're giving. Like, they break the mold in terms of pop artists. Like, they can walk down the street and not be like Beyonce, like barraged.
Right.
But at the same time, they've won 3 Grammys. Yeah. They're multi-platinum, and everyone in every tour. They sell tours out. They literally are on tour in Japan right now, and they're selling out in Japan.
Wow.
And I just have so much admiration for them, not only as musicians, but as people. Right. Because they're so giving, and they didn't have to do anything. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have to hire me to be a tour assistant. I had no experience, but they know that I wanted to be there and do a good job. So
that's amazing. Damn.
And so that moment was like, okay, this is where I want to be. And that was from that moment on, I started putting myself first.
That's good.
In terms of like, I'm going to be an artist, and I want to do this artist thing, and I want to release music. And I got back.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I got back then, and really kind of that fall wrote the first song of the EP, Tell Me Now.
Which is a great song, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll link that too. I'll link link everything in the description for you.
You're the best.
Sorry, we just got time for one more real quick. I know that you got to get going, but knowing all of that, and you kind of highlighted a little bit of it, when you were talking to your younger self, but this is something I always end with asking people, and I might have asked you this on the last one on Dash Radio, but with everything that you've gone through, everything that you've talked about, and you're here now, even as after, fresh off of a 10-week, it's pretty much a 10-week tour, and playing, the Pentatonics, everything you've learned, if you could go back to your 15-year-old self, because 15, you were singing, right? And you knew that you enjoyed it and you loved it.
Totally.
If you could go back and talk to your 15-year-old self, what would you say in like a really just simple way? Yeah.
I would have I think the biggest thing is I would have said, don't be scared. It's just, or don't wait. Like, it's I moved to LA, and I was so I want to start doing backgrounds, and I want to that's what I want to do, and get my foot in that way, and then do session singing, and I was so afraid to just start songwriting and to start putting myself first. Wow. And not to be like, plug, but this the song Uncover on my EP is exactly that. And the chorus says, I won't put my heart second best. It doesn't mean I'm loving you less. Wow. And that's, in my eyes, was the first time that when the EP came along, that was like, I have to, and it doesn't, and I was always putting myself first. I would do backgrounds, I would do free sessions, I would do this and this and this and this, and I wasn't helping myself. And I was doing music and stuff, but my career had plateaued. It was just like, you're doing the same kind of gig, you're not really pushing, nothing's really moving up or forward. Yeah. And
so 15-year-old self, you would say?
I would say, don't be scared, and just like believe, and you have what it takes. You just have to believe it, and just and don't wait. Just start writing, and so, just start being the artist that you are.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for being
having
here
me
on Wavelength. Again, like I said, you guys, I'm going to put everything out, all of his information, and we're going on tour together. So if you guys are one of the tour spots, we would love to know if you took time to listen to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make sure you guys check out Mario Jose, everything that he's doing. This is going to be a huge year. By the way, we didn't even discuss this because we didn't have time, but you just sang with Meghan Trainor That was amazing.
Thank you.
You sounded incredible and made me cry and all that.
Oh my God.
But yeah, he is an amazing artist, amazing friend. He has a heart of gold. That's the name of his EP. But yeah, make sure you check him out. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Wavelength listeners, if you don't have Keep Hope Alive, I'm going to come kick your ass wherever you are.
By the way, Mario wrote the title of my EP. Sitting right here in the same spot. We wrote Waiting on You together, and he wrote those words. And then I was like, what a great name for an EP.
I'm honored. I can't believe that you chose that as the title. I'm like, still like ecstatic. I'm such a like punani. I'm like, I love that so much.
It's amazing. But that's what you do, Mario. You inspire hope, inspire love.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
What an amazing person. Mario Jose has been one of the lights in my life. Ever since I finally, got to meet him, I remember seeing him sing one time in North Hollywood, and his voice was just so amazing that I knew I had to meet him someday. And I thank my lucky stars that our paths crossed eventually, and we were able to meet, and now it's like family to me. It's amazing when you get to meet people that really become close and that you really, really connect with. Those are the types of relationships that you got to hold on to. As a creator, as an artist, there's not too many people that understand the weight and the significance, the importance of what we do. And there's not many people that understand, the good and the bad that goes on in being an independent creator and living this life. So it's really great when you come across people that just get it. Make sure that you check in the description of this podcast. You will be able to find all of his social media, everything. Please go support him. Please follow him. We are on tour this summer with the Philharmonic. The name for the tour will be coming out shortly, but we've got a couple dates. You can go to my website or my Facebook to find them as well. I want to leave you guys with this quote that I actually heard today. And it was from, she's a Buddhist monk, John Kwan. I'm a huge Chef's Table fan, and I know that it's been out for a while, but I'm finally getting to season 3 right now. And she was the chef that was featured. And if you haven't seen it, you gotta go check it out. But she goes, creativity and ego cannot go together. If you free yourself from comparing and the jealous mind, your creativity opens up endlessly. I hope that this week can be that for you. I hope that we can find ourselves more this week, and we can continue to be confident in our decisions, be confident in our art, be confident in our creations, because this is all just a journey. We only have one life to live, and I hope that you live this very moment to the fullest. I love you guys so much. Thank you for taking the time, and I will see you next week.